Hey everyone, I'm Allison and welcome to Baby Stepping to Freedom. On my channel, I share with you all about our debt-free journey, our journey towards financial independence, and tips and tricks that can help you on your way as well. I wanted to sit down and share our story, who we are, what our debt was, how we got motivated to pay off our debt, and what the future is looking like for us. I've really shared a lot of these little pieces along the way, but it's been a while since I sat down and talked about our whole story. And so I wanted to kind of update our story and talk about what the last 3 years of being on a debt-free journey and a financial independence journey has looked like for us. So as I said, my name is Allison. My husband is Aaron. I am 30 and Aaron is 32. We live in the state of Washington and we are what many people would call DINKs, which stands for dual income, no kids. Basically, we have no kids and we both work full time. So definitely that DINK factor, I like that term, the DINK factor does impact our debt-free journey because not having kids and both having full-time jobs and careers impacts our income and our way of life. We started our debt-free journey in July 2016, which was just about 3 years ago, like 3 years and 1 month. And when we started way back when, we had $125,000 worth of debt. That was a lot of things. It was student loans, which was the biggest portion of our debt. It was a car loan, credit cards, solar panels on our house, and a patio in our backyard. All of those things together equaled $125,000. It took us 28 months or 2.5 years to pay off $125,000 worth of debt. Some months were better than others, but 2.5 years was just about the time it took us when we were really focused and motivated to become debt-free. So the moment that we decided that we really needed to make a change and pay off our debt and quit acquiring debt was in May 2016. So in May 2016, we decided it was a great idea to go to a home and garden show, a local home and garden show. And at that home and garden show, we were like, we should look and see what it would cost to put a patio in our backyard or a deck or do something. At the time, we just had a backyard and like a tiny concrete slab. That was it. It was like just barely enough to stand on, and that was it. So we really had this dream of having a better backyard that we could spend time in versus just like, nothing. So we decided to check it out at the home and garden show, maybe get some quotes, talk to some people. We weren't really very serious about it, but we thought, well, we'll see kind of generally what this might look like. Well, that little thought turned into getting quotes and estimates from multiple different companies because, that's why they're at these shows. So we had multiple different meetings with all different contractors who drew up all different kinds of patios and back decks and all kinds of things for us. And a little idea in our mind turned into this big project that was a lot of money. Although we weren't really serious about it at first, having the plans in front of us and options to pay for the project really made us serious about it. So we decided to go for it and we put in a patio in our backyard and we were offered a 1-year no interest loan for this patio. And it's one of those loans that we didn't pay interest for a year, but we also didn't have to back pay any interest if we didn't pay it off. So essentially it was 1 year free, and then we start 1 year later paying it off. So we were like, that sounds great. We can do that. We have a year to figure out our finances, figure out how we're going to pay for this patio, but also still enjoy the patio in the meantime. That was kind of the mindset that we were in at that time, that we're going to buy now, figure it out later. That's what we did with everything. Buy now, figure it out later. Oh, I want this shirt. Buy now, figure it out later. I want this new TV, buy now, figure it out later. That is what we did. What was really alarming for us during this process was they asked us, okay, so here's your project. How much will you be willing to pay for like a monthly payment on this loan. And at that point, we didn't really know. We had to actually sit down, look at our budget, which was not a budget. It was basically, okay, how much money do we have? No idea. And figure out how much of a monthly payment we would be able to afford. Basically, what we figured out was we couldn't afford any more than $150 a month. If this payment was over $150 a month, we would not be able to afford it. What that meant was we couldn't afford more than $150 a month. Like, that was crazy. We both work full time. We make a decent income, yet we literally didn't have $150 to spend at that point. Like, that was a big deal. Although at the time we thought, okay, we have a year to figure out how we're going to pay $150. After we signed the papers for a $15,000 project, we started realizing, wait a second, this doesn't feel very good. Why can we not afford more than $150? Like, that is crazy. Right around this time, I had a conversation with my sister who had just started following Dave Ramsey's baby steps, and she was like, what are you doing? Why are you buying this patio when you can't afford it? And why are you not working on paying off your debt? Why are you acquiring more debt when you can barely even afford your life as it is? And at first, that conversation did not make me feel very happy. I felt a little bit defensive, and I was like, wait a second, you don't know me, and why are you telling me what to do? Then I was like, valid point. Maybe I shouldn't be paying $15,000 for a patio when I don't even have $150 to spare each month. So after that conversation, Aaron and I started talking, and we were like, well, maybe we shouldn't go forward with this patio. Maybe we need to do something about this predicament we're in. How do we not have $150? That's just really what it came down to. How do we not have $150 when we make decent money? So we started reading Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover, and we decided we're gonna do this. We're gonna work on paying off our debt. We are going to set ourselves up for financial success, and we are going to change the way that we live because we don't want to feel this way again. So the first step was to try and get out of the patio project, because at that time it still hadn't even started. We had just signed the papers. This was maybe 2 weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later, after we signed the papers and decided to go forward with this project. So 2 to 3 weeks, that was like a big, like, eye-opening 2 to 3 weeks in our life. And we found out that essentially we would have to pay $4,000 to get out of the project. And we were not in a place to just lose $4,000 and get nothing. So we decided to go forward with the patio project, finance it, and hopefully be in a place a year later where we could afford that minimum payment of $150. So that was the last debt that we acquired. And from that moment on, essentially, we were working on our budget. We started 2 months later on our debt Snowball, and we started paying off our smallest debt from smallest to largest. We followed Dave Ramsey's baby steps and the debt Snowball method. And a year later, in July 2017, that was when we had our first $150 patio payment. We had one payment that we had to make, and by that point, we had paid off the rest of the loan. So essentially, in that first year, we had not only paid off all of our other smaller debts before that, but we had also paid off the patio. So 1 year was like a drastic difference for us. I believe in our first year of our debt-free journey, we paid off around $50,000 worth of debt. So right now, it is about 3 years later after that moment of panic of not having $150 to spare each month. We've paid off the $125,000, and we are just a few months away from having a 6-month emergency fund. Actually, I'm going to call it a 6+ month emergency fund saved up where we will be able to survive if something happens and we don't have an income. So 3 years, $125,000 gone, and almost $30,000 saved in an emergency fund. And lives have changed. Our lives have changed since that moment. After we finished saving our emergency fund, which is finishing Dave Ramsey's baby step 3. We are planning on moving forward to baby steps 4, 5, and 6, which is starting to really invest a lot of our money for retirement and pay off our house. So although we say we're debt-free, that's really consumer debt-free, meaning we don't have any student loans or credit cards or car loans or anything like that, but we do still have a mortgage. We plan on having our house paid off in the next 8 years, well, 8.5 years, I guess, from now. So that will be by the time Aaron turns 40, we will have a paid off house. That is the goal right now, and it's super attainable for us. Not only do we want to have our house paid off as soon as possible, we also want to just have a big savings and retirement and investments and all of that so we can retire as soon as possible. That is the goal that we are working towards. And retirement for us might not be necessarily like not having a job. It just, for us, means that we want to be able to have the freedom to quit our jobs if we want, or do something different, or have jobs where we're making less money. Whatever it is, our goal is be free, right? We want to not be tied down to be working a job that we have to have. And we are really almost there. We have only our mortgage and the costs involved in having a house, and beyond that, we are free to do pretty much whatever we want. And that is a drastic difference from 3 years ago, where we were tied down to our jobs. We had no option because we had so many payments that we didn't even have $150 to spare each month. So if you are in the place that we were in 3 years ago, know that you are not stuck. You are not alone. You can make a change and in just a few short years have a drastically different life than you have now. Or if you are in the middle of it and you are digging yourself out of debt and working towards a path of financial independence, know that it is possible and it feels good in the end. Well, I guess it's not really the end. We are not done. But the end of that climb to survival of getting out of that debt and becoming financially free. So thanks for watching our debt-free story and our story of financial independence. I hope this video has motivated you to continue on maybe your debt-free journey, or start a debt-free journey, or has motivated you in feeling like this is possible and whatever changes you want to have are possible. Whatever your feelings are, I hope that this video has helped you kind of gain some perspective, be a little bit relatable, and know that you're not alone. If you like this video, please scroll down and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. I put out videos every week sharing our journey and tips that might help you along the way on your journey. Thanks for watching. See you next time.